Hey, Thrivers, this is Robbie, one of your 2025 HIVstopswithme.org spokesmodels, talking to you about our June question of the month. Now, this one is particularly special because it is emotional, it's vulnerable, and it's personal. And so I commend all of my fellow spokesmodels on the stories that they're about to share, and I'm so excited to watch them and support everyone. The June question of the month is, everyone in life has experienced a heartbreak. Did your HIV diagnosis stem from or lead to a heartbreak, and what did you learn? My HIV diagnosis stemmed from a heartbreak. And when we're thinking about heartbreaks, our mind automatically goes to something more like relationship or romantic driven. But as long as you have love, your heart can break. And there are a million scenarios that can break somebody's heart. And my heart was broken when I was 13 years old. And I believe that my HIV diagnosis stemmed from that heartbreak. I grew up completely unabashedly myself. I've never had a filter. I've always been who I am from the time I was literally a child. I can just remember being just so true to myself and so communicative of my genuine self. And so, when my teen years came around, I immediately came out of the closet when I was like 13, yeah? And my mother opened her arms and accepted me unconditionally. My father did not, however. And I think there's a bigger story there, anytime anybody has children, we are thrust into this heteronormative kind of upbringing. You never have a child and imagine them as gay or bisexual or transgender or queer or non-binary, and there's a million other things, right? But we live in such a heteronormative society that when people procreate and have kids, they immediately just assume that their kids are going to follow a heteronormative life, right? And if they don't assume that, then kudos to you. You are the type of parents we need in the world. And I think, for my dad, it was two things. I think it was hard for my dad to relinquish his dreams for me, his heteronormative dreams for me, or the narrative or the story he told himself when I was born, that maybe I would grow up and meet a beautiful woman and have a lot of babies and get a house and a full-time job. And obviously that's not the case, yeah? And so I think it's that. I also think that maybe my father has some homosexual repressed feelings that he was then kind of like unloading onto me, and we see a lot of that in society as well. And so when I came of age, like any teenager does, and started experimenting and needing a safe place to exercise my sexual side or start to explore who I was and what my body enjoys, I didn't necessarily have that safe space that most people have, Most straight kids are sitting there at 13 years old in some kid's basement making out with their girlfriend, and the parents know and they kind of turn a blind eye. And I didn't have that. I, was immediately, helter-skeltered by my dad when I came out into thinking that there was something wrong with me. He was like, well, maybe it's just a phase. Maybe you're bisexual. Maybe, X, Y, and Z. And I just remember being like, no, I know exactly who I am and I know what I want. And it breaks my heart that it broke my heart that I didn't have that unconditional love. I don't want to glaze over that. It was heartbreaking. And I think if I was given an opportunity and a safe space to be who I was, then I would not have developed, secret promiscuous outings. I wouldn't have sold my body. I wouldn't have had my, self-worth and dignity and identity stripped from me. And I wouldn't have had to spend years creating a shield of armor to protect me from society And that was hard. So the heartbreak that I endured was from my dad. And that heartbreak snowballed into a really unhealthy lifestyle and just a really dark life. I don't know if I'm ever going to truly make up with my dad. We have a very hot and cold relationship over the years. And here's what I've learned. First off, unconditional love is what saves lives. Second off, as I've gotten older and further from my childhood and my teen years, and I'm no longer dependent on my parents, and I'm self-sufficient and very successful, thank God. And I have a beautiful husband and a beautiful home, and it gets easier because the lessons I've learned are that I don't owe anybody anything. And I don't need a suit of armor to protect me because who I am is enough. And who that 13-year-old kid was enough, except he wasn't told that, he didn't feel that. I wish I could take back 15 years of my life, but I can't. So here I am, telling my story because I know that the people watching this are also going to be parents themselves, or they might be children of parents like mine that didn't necessarily understand. And I know I could save a life by telling my truth. And so I've learned that life just goes on. It's a series of cycles. And, dignity and self-worth and self-esteem and value is never lost. And even though you might have a disease that will stick with you for the rest of your life, your soul is still free. And at the end of the day, when these bodies deteriorate into dust, it's our souls that live on. And I just want everybody to take that with them. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great June.